Hello, I'm Bruce Smith. I'm the Executive Director for Strategy and Planning in EWEC. That's the Emirates Water and Electricity Company. So my team is responsible for basically planning the portfolio and the assets that are required in order to enable us to manage the energy transition. So since 2016, when we first started using PLEXOS, we've gone through what now 9 annual planning iterations. Each year we keep working on PLEXOS to enhance its capabilities. So I've got about 13 analysts working in the planning team today using PLEXOS, and there's another couple of people in the system operations team who are also dedicated PLEXOS users. So it's an important tool for EWEC for sure. EWEC uses PLEXOS, or my planning team uses PLEXOS to identify what the least cost portfolio of generating assets, production assets on both power and water looks like, and what we need to build when in order to meet the increase in demand. So we're forecasting an increase in annual demand of about 4.5% every year over the next 10-year period, even before we start considering some potentially large industrial demand additions. PLEXOS helps us to identify how much capacity we need to introduce, of what technology type, and in which year. And we are also now integrating a system planning capability which considers locational considerations with the objective of minimizing total transmission investment as well as the investment in capacity. But PLEXOS sits at the heart of this. This tool is really critical for us, and we update it on an annual basis with new planning assumptions like new demand forecasts, new prices of technologies, prices of fuel and so on. And that sits, therefore, right at the heart in terms of informing our recommendations for what do we need to build in order to manage the transition. Now, in the next few years, we're likely to see a transition to maybe 60–65% clean energy as part of the least cost energy and water production portfolio. So the immediate challenge is how do we build that much capacity in the time that we've got, which is very compressed. Well, I moved to Abu Dhabi 20 years ago. At that point, our system was exclusively gas-based, and we produced an annual demand forecast, and at the appropriate point, we made a decision to build another thermal cogeneration plant, or occasionally another dedicated CCGT plant. Since 2014, when we adopted a techno-economic approach to system expansion, we've seen a dramatic increase in the complexity of the portfolios that we are now building, not directly as a consequence of PLEXOS, but what PLEXOS enables us to do is to identify how much of emerging technologies like solar, like reverse osmosis on the water side, like new battery technologies, and even now additional nuclear capacity, we would need to introduce into the system. Without PLEXOS as that optimization tool, it's impossible to calculate how much you would need. So you need an optimization tool. And we've found, with now, eight years plus of evolution on the PLEXOS model, that it provides a good platform for planning what we need to build and when we need to build it. I was very keen to actually meet and see a number of the participants here. I mean, there's over 250 odd people here over the few days. It's great to see the scale of interest and the range of participants from the various different entities. The event itself has been extremely well organized, as has always been my experience. Many of my team have been on previous events, but say this is only the second one that I personally attended. It's been great from my perspective. From my perspective, in terms of managing the team and trying to ensure that we build the capability of the platform and the tool that we're using, my experience with dealing with Michael and the rest of the Energy Exemplar team has been very positive. I found it to be responsive, friendly, and very helpful. So it's been positive all around from my perspective.